Welcome back. Well, as I mentioned, we have Jeff Parker here with us today, who's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the OC health information regarding numbers and ages and things like that, plus a few other things. Well, welcome back. Hope you had a great weekend.
Good morning, and how are you?
I'm good. You know, just trying to recover from my crazy weekend. And stay at home still.
Yeah, it's nice to have family over like I had this weekend, you had this weekend.
Yeah.
That is fun, but it's also kind of stressful and trying to do it in this environment that we're in.
You're right, it is, and there's still so many things to consider. So please share with us some numbers. They're kind of okay, not okay?
Yeah, it's mixed. So we've reached the 3,500 level with regards to the cumulative cases in Orange County. So we're still seeing it on a rise. Yesterday the cases were 122, but on Friday and Saturday we had a spike and they were up in the 180s and 175 numbers. So there's no balance yet with regards to trying to keep it on a curve flattening out.
Right.
Keeps kind of fluctuating up and down. And as I mentioned, that a lot has to do with testing.
Right.
The report that we had was only 307 tests yesterday. Now it's a weekend.
Yeah.
So that's not surprising that it's lower, but we were averaging about 2,000 tests a day going back the last 10 days.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how that's going to reflect the scores that we're going to see in the next couple of days, of whether or not we're going to see a lower number or not.
Right.
But one of the things that kind of on the sad news is we had a couple more deaths in Orange County. Our numbers are still good in Laguna Woods. But out of the 76 deaths that they reported in Orange County, the thing that I keep talking about the village is that 82% of people that have died, unfortunately, are in this 55 and over range.
Right.
And of that, 69% in the 65 and over range.
Right.
So again, our high-risk residential group, which is here at the village, they've done a great job in staying at home and following the rules because the numbers are low. But if they do get impacted, it's pretty serious because of the type of virus it is.
Right, and like we had mentioned before, the comorbidities that you might have something pre-existing, and sometimes you might not even know that you have a pre-existing condition. So it's more likely that you could contract something if you have those particular types of circumstances.
Exactly. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the hospitalization rate. This has been, I would say this is a good news. It's kind of flattening out. We've been right around the 180. Yesterday was 178. So that kind of flattening out of that number is one thing that everybody at the state and local level are looking at.
Right.
How many people are in ICU? How many people are in the hospital?
Right. And if you remember, Cuomo had come on with New York, and they had a lot of volatility there right before it started to go over that curve. So maybe we're getting closer.
Headed in the right direction, I hope.
Yeah.
I definitely hope so.
Good. Well, thank you for those numbers because it's good to keep an eye on them. I mean, I wouldn't stress over them, but I would definitely, keep an eye on them.
Exactly.
So thanks for reporting on that. Perfect.
The other couple things I wanted to mention was that today is our opening of our golf course.
That's right.
So that's really kind of,
everybody must be so excited.
Our team has done a great job getting the course and ready for the golfers. Golfers have fallen in line with regards to all the conditions that we have. So we'll be watching that today. Obviously, we want to make sure that social distancing is occurring out there. The reservation system is working. And so we'll be working and watching this all week long because it kind of is the predecessor to tennis, which is next Monday. And other events that we're going to hopefully get open as soon as we get the go-ahead from the state of California.
Exactly. I think that's great. And I'm sure people are just itching to get outside and do some activity, which, they've been stagnant for quite some time. And walking and just isn't going to cut it when you really are a competitive person. So it's good to know. So then I think you mentioned before that when you open up the tennis courts, it would be a singles-only situation.
That's correct. Okay. At this point in time, it's singles only. And we're going to have the same kind of reservation system set up for the courts and entry, exit, same location so that we can get people in and out. So we'll be working on that. So the next step is really to follow what the governor is telling us with his phase 2 opening of the areas with regards to businesses or activities. And for us, really, it comes back to the outside activities at this point in time. I think the thing that I want to stress for the community is that we're taking this very, very slowly and not rushing to judgment on opening up anything real quick. We want to make sure we can do it right and do it safely, because it impacts our population here, which again is considered the most vulnerable population in the state of California.
Right. And I also wanted to just let people know that, you know, we have adjusted our village television schedule too for this day to accommodate the safety of everybody. You know, obviously you're the only live person that we truly have here, and most of our other things are all done through Zoom interviews. So, you know, as soon as we get the go ahead as well, we'll do the same thing about rolling things out in a different manner. But as of right now, we just haven't moved forward in that respect.
Right, and I think that's going to be in that phase 3. So we still have a long ways to go before we see a lot of social distancing relaxation of those rules where you can have 10 or more people in one area. I think that's a ways off. I think outdoor activities clearly are the first ones that we'll see, and we have now with golf and tennis. That's really great. We get a lot of emails from pickleball players and stuff like that. So on Wednesday, I mentioned to you that I'd like to come back and maybe we'll have more detail of what the governor's phase 2 is, how that affects us directly, what we're going to be recommending to slowly again open up some of our activities, especially the outside activities, and how we're going to handle future operations. One of the things that we're going to do with that, if we get that kind of information from the governor, is I'm looking at some kind of online process where I can get input from the community as to, you know, what they want to see open, how fast they want to see open. Because I think the community has been very, very cognizant of the stay-at-home rules. And I think I'm also getting a lot of comments that, well, don't open up too soon. We don't want to have a second wave type of thing. So we need to balance that really important social requirement and safety requirement with the need of the residents who want to get out there and exercise. So that's why we're going to take it slow and do it purposely and make sure it's safe.
I mean, for a social community as social as this place is, I know it's really difficult. And they have so many great clubs, and then you've got 300 members of some clubs that just can't do their club thing. So I know it's super frustrating. But nonetheless, thank you very much. You guys are doing a great job keeping us informed. So we look forward to Wednesday. It's going to be interesting to see what the governor ends up doing.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And remember, if you wanted to follow along to know what the governor is doing, you can always go to the websites that we had mentioned earlier. I believe that is usa.gov/coronavirus. We'll be right back.